Hey guys, Automatic Garage back today. We got another 6 liter to work on. This is a 06. We got some turbo seals, what we're going to go after. I'll show y'all what it was doing. Got the white blue smoke coming out of the exhaust. Reeks of burnt motor oil when it's smoking. Does it whenever you come to a stop at a stoplight, or you let off the gas coasting down a hill or something, come back in, you get that puff of smoke every time. So we're going to go off some turbo seals and show y'all what we're doing here. So first things first, we got to take our charge air cooler pipe off here. We got to take our air intake off. Get back here and get to the downpipe. Get the turbo pedestal mounts loose. Your oil drain, your oil supply. Unplug the VGT. All that fun stuff. Get this turbo off, and what we're probably more than likely going to see is a good bit of oil in that downpipe back there, because it doesn't do it when it's cold at all. You got to get this motor warm, get the oil hot, and then it's going to start burning this oil. All right, turbo is all out. We checked our drain bag too. It looks fine. Don't really see anything but soot in the downpipe, but the way this thing is acting, it's got to be the oil seal in this turbo. So we're going to tear into it, see what we got inside of it. Notice when I spin this, you're going to see oil come out around it. That means that oil seal isn't doing its job. See the oil leaking out around it. Alright, so we're all apart here. I don't see anything galled up really bad. It just looked like the oil seal was leaking. So we're going to get all this cleaned up, and we're going to check and see how good the oil seals fit in here. See if the gap's too big, if this is just worn beyond the point of the oil seal sealing. So we'll get all this stuff cleaned up, including the unison ring and the vanes. And where the unison ring sits in here on the studs, get all this cleaned up and get it checked out and ready to put back together if it looks good. All right guys, we are ready for our turbo reassembly. We got everything all cleaned up. Make sure this operates freely. We got, didn't show doing this, but I want to put a new O-ring on the cap here. We just got to install our snap rings there. Did not take the actuator rod all the way out. Just sprayed some brake clean in here and cleaned all this up. I did pull the plunger out, make sure it was nice and clean. This is all clean, got some oil on it, got our new O-ring there. Got our new O-ring on the housing here already. Like I said, we got everything clean. We got to install the new O-rings on our VGT. We weren't having any VGT issues. It looked like it was operating. It wasn't stuck at 15 or 85%. Either way, I'm going to put the new thrust bearing in. We've cleaned up our unison ring. It doesn't look like it has very bad wear. It's not really egg shaped. There's no crack in it. Where the vane guides go isn't wore. I did take the vanes and just lightly clean the surface where it sits against here. We cleaned it up. This does have some pitting. It's not that bad. The vanes don't feel like they bind by any means. They all move freely. You can put the unison ring on. You know, make sure it's loose, not too tight, and you make sure it doesn't bind when you run it back and forth. And another thing to clean is right down here in this crack. Get you a wire brush, because this will get crusty, and that'll be one of the things that causes it to bind where the face of it sits against there. So we're ready for reassembly. Should have this turbo back together and not have any play in the shaft and not have any oil leaks, and get this thing back going. I don't know if I showed y'all before, we have our new oiling ring on here, right there. And we did put it in the housing right here. That's another thing to clean I should have mentioned, is that groove. You can see right down in there is Runya picking it with some brake cleaner. That'll get crusted up. This had a bunch of burnt looking oil in it where it had gotten hot. The other side of your oiling ring, or oiling seal, sorry, which is like a piston ring. This is the new one installed on the new thrust bearing and everything here. And put them in here, and when you put them in, there shouldn't be a very big gap. That gap should almost be closing it when you put it in, both sides, fitting tight. Before we finish putting this all together, this is a way to make sure your vanes are all doing right. So I took this cap back out. This is my magnet stuck right there on the plunger. It goes to the VGT. If you look right, let's see if I can do all this and hold it. And that's just me pulling back and forth with my magnet here. This isn't a super strong magnet, but you can see it's hard for me to hold on this. You can see them moving right down there. And that's very smooth. I'm not pushing or pulling very hard at all. So this spins nice and smooth. We have no binding. That includes changing this just to make sure. No binding, no resistance. We don't have an overabundance of... Now there's got to be some slop in here because oil takes up some of that. Once this is all oiled up and running. So we're gonna put our O-rings on our VGT, get it reinstalled, put the cover back on, tighten that up, and then we are put our oil tube back on too, our oil feed. And we've got a new oil drain tube coming. It's not here yet. Should be here any minute. We're going to replace the oil drain tube. My supplier didn't have just the O-rings. He said, man, I got the whole drain tube with O-rings for like 20 bucks. So we're just gonna go on and do that so I can have new O-rings on that also and get this put back in. All right, guys, so we fixed our turbo seal issue, but we have another issue now that has shown its face, and it all had to do with me moving that Y pipe around more, probably because it had a weak spot in it. So we have an exhaust leak now on our up pipe, our Y pipe area where those bellows are. So we got some more content coming on this, replacing this Y pipe. All right, so you'll hear a squealing sound. It changes with the exhaust, of course. It's a whistling, squealing sound is how I describe it. All right, guys, hope you enjoyed the video on rebuilding this turbo. So y'all like, subscribe, comment, check us out at Facebook, Instagram, and Rumble. We always got videos on Powerstrokes and other diesels. We got some more stuff coming on Gary's truck here soon. This is Automated Garage signing out. We'll holler at y'all later.